Hi, thank you for joining us on part 2 of how to construct a rainwater catchment system. Let me introduce myself. My name is SharonSandman with Arizona NAP 7. My colleague is Sadie Lister, which also includes New Mexico NAP 6, who consists of Jesse Jim, Jenna Johnson. NAP stands for Native American Producer Success Projects. NAPS is a collaborative effort between Dene Inc., New Mexico Cooperative Extension Service, and Dene College Land Grant Office. The project is funded by USDA Outreach and Assistance for Socially Disadvantaged Veterans and Farmers and Ranchers program. Today I have my nephews helping me, Samuel Sosi, cameraman, and Anthony Yazzie, assembler.
Hey there, hello. My name is Anthony. As my auntie just introduced a little while ago, here's most of the stuff, not everything, but most of the stuff you're going to be needing for your water line drip system. So we have here our drip line hose, and this is for when you're laying it in your garden bed, so we're going to be putting most of that in. Here's our regular water hose, which is going to connect from your barrel to your drip line. A couple of elbow connector pieces. These are just slip-in pieces, so you don't have to worry about anything. You just slip them in and they hug tight to this pipe. What you're also going to need is some PVC, depending on how long or how far away or how many barrels you have connected to your water line. So that's depending on what your situation is. Here we only have one barrel, so we don't need that much. We only bought maybe about a foot. So we also have some, this is 3/4 inches, depending on what type of barrel you have or what type of feeding system you're trying to tie into. You might want to adjust your size. For us, we're using 3/4 inch, so we also have some 3/4 inch elbow PVC pieces. We have to do a little bit of connecting, so we have here a 3/4 inch connector piece that's going to go underneath our barrel and feed out to our thing. And then here's our spout that we're going to be using to connect the whole thing. It's got a 3/4 inch bushing on there, transfers from 3/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. This is a 1/2 inch PVC valve with, I forget what this is called, but this feeds into your hose line right here, connects to it like that, and once it's in there, and you won't have to worry about that. So we have everything kind of assembled already, mostly assembled. This is for our garden bed when we're on that side doing our tie-in. We have one piece capped off. We have another bushing here. We have a male adapter connected to this bushing because we didn't have all the right pieces, and we just tie that in here. You also might need some you're gonna need some PVC glue and some PVC thread tape, and it looks like that. And if you don't have the glue, you can use caulking that's also an adhesive. So we have that here since we don't have glue. And then you're going to need a pipe cutter. So, alright, let's get to assembly. This is our barrel, and we cut it on the wrong side. So as you see, our spout's up here on the top, but we wanted it on the bottom. So we just flipped it up and cut the underside. So this is another 3/4 inch fitting slipped into the because your barrel might have already pre-cut holes in it with thread, and you just need to buy a stopper, put it in there, and then put this bushing on there. And so since we don't have the PVC glue, what we're going to do is we want a little bit of this stuff to come out. Oh, there we go. So since we don't have the glue, we just want to get it just enough to put our fingers around it, get it all nice on there, nice and even. You want it to get it even as you can, and then you just take it and you slip it in there, get it all nice and snug in there. Whatever excess glue or whatever's coming out, just run your finger or your whatever you have helping you to get it nice in there. The nice thing about this one is, see, comes in 3 pieces. There's 2 ends to tie into your PVC piping, and then you just want to screw it in. But because this has a little thread on it, what we're going to do, just to make it nice and watertight, is get our threading tape. And it's just a little white thread, a little white nylon thing. You get it, you stick it on here, and whatever side is you're turning it, you want it to go that same way so the thread doesn't unravel itself. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you're going to want to put your tape on the opposite side, so when you're tying it in, it doesn't unthread itself. So just a few little loops around each thread. Get it nice and tight, and then you just turn it on, get it on there, get it nice and there, and there we go. This right here, elbow piece, is going to connect into here, so what we're going to need to do is get our caulking again. Just get enough on there, nice little glob, spread it around as evenly as you can. Oops, maybe a little bit more. There we go. Try your hardest not to get it inside the actual pipe. There we go. And now we just take our L piece, shove it up in there. Maybe some on the inside might help it stick better. Now, as you notice, I'm not going all the way in. There's a little embezzlement in there that shows you where to stop, and that's where the pipe will stop feeding into it. There we go. Just grab the excess and make sure it's nice and watertight around. And there we go. Now the other thing we're going to need to do is, I have this little bushing on here. A little bushing adapter goes from 3/4 inch pipe down to a 1/2 inch because our spout is only a 1/2 inch wide. So this one we're going to need double the tape and the glue on the inside. So you just take your tape and wrap it around like so. You want it to be a nice tight fit, so it's okay if you go around a couple of times. Pull it off, pull it tight, get it on there, get it on your thing so it's nice and tight. Because they also have a little filter, so even if you do collect rainwater off of your roof and you have shingles instead of metal, and you're worried about your water being contaminated with like oils and stuff or whatever's on the roof, these will have filters in them. Let me see, let me grab the other piece. Here we go.
There you go.
So, see, this is going to be our tie-in piece over there. When our hoses are all connected, it's going to feed into here, or not here, I'm sorry, into here, like this. And see, most of them will have a line or an arrow to show you how which way the water's supposed to go. Because if you put it in on this side, there might not be enough space for the water to catch in and go this way, and it'll all just rush this way and build up. And so when it's running this way, it gives it enough space to flow evenly and in every direction you want it. But with these T connectors, that we call them, they have replaceable filters. So if it gets all gunked up with dirt or debris or whatever, you could just take that out, wash it off. Washable filters, replaceable filters. And then these also have a little bubbled filter inside of it. And so if you want to connect it, we have a little end cap piece right here because we're not ready to do the whole system yet. And you just tie it on like that, and you're ready to go. And there you go, nice and tight. Then we get our glue, our caulking glue, put it just on there, just enough to get it on there. Now see, with the PVC glue, it comes in a little metal container and it has a brush inside already, so there's no mess. But since we're using adhesive caulking, because that's all we have on hand, that is what we're using, and we just slip it on like this. Make sure it's nice and tight on there, all the way down. Okay, and there's our spout. So since we didn't have much to do, we just needed a couple connector pieces because we didn't have enough PVC to do it. So we had a connector piece on hand, this little solvent connector piece to an elbow, to another PVC, to a bushing, to your nozzle, and then to your spout head. Our barrel back up and into our 55-gallon barrel. This is a 55-gallon barrel that we have. And like I said, depending on how many barrels you have, or however your system is set up, because not every house is the same, not every garden is the same. So ours runs from the bottom out right here, and then this is where our hose is going to connect all the way to our garden over there. So we have it propped up nice and tight. Get the water damage. And so since that's all glued in and nice and tight, it shouldn't have no problems leaking. We did a test run earlier without the glue and everything, just dry fitted everything together. Worked out beautifully, so now we'll just get our black hose. So another thing also, if you don't want to use these ones, these spouts right here, the green part, they're threaded as you saw. So the 1/2 inch will fit most garden hose, regular garden hoses, so you can just straight up just connect it. And even if you do use this is also will come into here, but it's also threaded, so you can take it off and on as much as you want. So all you have to do here is grab your, this is 1/2 inch, this is 1/2 inch, grab your pipe and not shove, but gently coax it on there. And as you can see, the whole thing moves, so you don't have to worry about having the barrel move in with you or move with you or whatnot. Get it nice and tight as you can, and as you can see, it's beveled out, so when the water pressure is going through, it won't knock it off because it's nice and snug in there. But if you're a little uneasy about that, you can get a metal clamp and just clamp it down, and that'll be good to go. PVC cutter, pipe, grab it, saw. It's done. Depending on which one you have, you might have to pump it up a couple of times to get it to length and then cut, but this one's a one cut swipe go. It's called a pipeline or drip line, is because there's a hole at every intersection. They have these little lips right here, and water spills out, so you don't have to garden or water it yourself most of the time. And you just lay it wherever you want the water to go, and boom. This one I cut a little bit too long just to give me some slack in where I want the water to be. So remember we said we had these adapters. It's threaded on one side because we have a male piece here, male, female, and then these ones are the little slip-ins, so you could just slip your pipe in, and they have a groove on inside that'll grab the plastic, grab the hose. So what you do is you just take it and kind of forcefully shove it all the way in until the pipe doesn't want to go no more. As you can see, it pushed out my thing a little bit, but that's okay. So it's in there, it's nice and snug, it's not going nowhere. It'll still rotate, so you're not having to mess with the whole hose. You just get it, and I ran out of threading tape, but it shouldn't matter because this has a little washer inside that'll stop any water coming out. We just needed the threading tape for this connecting piece because we need to have a male to fit in this one. You just twist it. Make sure it's nice and tight. And there you go. We have these stakes here. It clamps on the hose like that. And you just push it in the ground. Like so. Okay, so we made a final adjustment to this. We cut our thing to length, and see how we have this opening. We have these little end cap pieces. So it's basically the same thing over there, that T, except this is just a straight adapter, and it's another end cap. Twist it on, and then, like the other one, you just shove it through to get it nice and tight in there. A little bit of force, and there we go. Now it's capped off.
Okay, we are done with our video for part 2 on the rainwater catchment system. We just connected the hose to the rainwater barrel, 50-gallon, and we tested it. We filled up the rainwater barrel with tap water and test out our project. And so far the water is draining into the little holes in this drainage pipe here, or hose, and then we capped it off over at the end. So in between where the holes are, I will plant some radishes. You could still plant radishes now and for the winter or the fall. So that's our end project. Thank you for joining us, and we shall see you in other videos that will be coming up soon. Thank you.